Hey, so this is my review of 2000 AD and Judge Dredd magazine. Now, the reason I'm reviewing these is this is something I've been looking forward to for a number of months now. And what they've done a 2-issue crossover, and it's a special zombie crossover event. So it starts in 2000 AD and finishes in Judge Dredd. And they're both extra sized issues. 2000 AD is 48 pages this time. So in total you've got about 112, something like that, pages. And that's what I love about it. So it's a big major crossover. It basically covers every character in 2000 AD and Judge Dredd. But they've managed to do an epic crossover with top-rate artists, top-rate writers, but just keep it limited to 2 issues. Now this is how you do a mega crossover. I mean, look at that cover, just amazing. So basically what it is, about 30 years ago, there was a Judge Dredd epic which guest featured Strontium Dog, Johnny Alpha. It's called Judgment Day. It's written by Garth Ennis, if I remember rightly. Different artists were on it. Colin McNeil. I'm not sure if Carlos Esquera was on it or not. I've not read it in years. But it's basically a bit like a zombie invasion. This, if I remember rightly, this evil person came into Megacity 1, or Megacity 2, whatever, and basically I think he rose the dead came back to life or something like that, anyway, if I remember, and they managed to defeat it and everything returned back to normal. But this starts in here, says maybe that's just one particular timeline, one particular reality. What if they weren't able to stop this evil and it spread across the multiverse, across all the different 2000 AD pocket galaxies, pocket universes where all the other characters reside? You know, if this global event became not just a global event but a universal event, and the infection spread everywhere, instead of them being able to defeat it, they weren't able to defeat it, and this zombie virus covered the whole area of all the different 2000 AD places, universes, galaxies, whatever. So it starts with this one, and the first story, the opening salvo, is called Judgment Day's Prologue, and it's written by Ken Niemand, and the artist by one of the best 2000 AD artists currently, and that's Henry Flint. He's just such a good... He's one of the best of the current crop of 2000 AD artists, because he's got a classic style, 2000 AD style, reminiscent of Mick Mann, Cam Kennedy and all the other greats. So this is where it all starts, where the virus comes on. You see guest features by people like Nikolai Dante, Ace Truck & Co. I've forgotten his name, but he's a British investigator. I forgot what his name is. You've got Rogue Trooper, and then you've got Flesh, which is about dinosaurs, and then you've got Sinister Dexter. Kingdom, and then it shows you all the other characters and universes and worlds that have been infected by the virus. And so that's the opening prologue, and then this comic basically delves into some of the major characters, so each one's got like a little story in it. So this initial one is Rogue Trooper. I'm not going to go too much into the story because it will ruin it. So like this 2000 is more like gives you a glimpse of how all the different characters are infected and how it affects how they are compared to how they normally are. This is the Survival Geeks. I used to love this strip. Really, really good. just show you the artwork. But like I said, I don't want to give it too much away because you need to buy it. It really is a one and done crossover, but it's a really fun read. What I like about 2000 AD, they don't take forever to get to the point. This one is Meat Arena, play on the what it really normally is called is Mean Arena. Yeah, they don't take like 20 pages to get the story going, like certain comics like Axe or whatever. They jump straight to the crux of the problem within the first few panels of the first two pages, which sets up the whole scenario, and then they let it just come running out of the gate then at a very fast rate of knots. And like I said, this issue has all different short stories showing how it impacts them. Alexa, stop. For some reason it's playing Mariah Carey. Sinister Dexter, who are bounty hunter, normally guns for hire, and this affects them in a very interesting way, the virus. But again, you need to read it because it's genius how it affects these two. And from there, it goes on to Anthony Crucis, who's more of a not as well known 2000 AD character. This is what I loved about this, how they didn't choose characters to focus on what we'd normally expect them to do. Did a few of the heavy hitters like Road Trip, and of course Johnny Off was the main character, Strontium Dog, because he was one of the main characters in the original Judgment Day. But Anthony Crucis was like more of a minor series. But the artwork by Disraeli is absolutely gorgeous, and it's written by Ian Edgerton, and I think they do Scarlet Traces together, if I remember rightly, and they really work well together. I mean, that is a great painting of a zombie. Okay. And then somebody who's not been in 2000 AD for years, and that's Robo Hunter. And after reading this, it just makes me want to read more Robo Hunter. I really do hope, not resurrect it like this as a zombie, but I hope they do start doing some more stories of Robo Hunter. And it's got really nice painted artwork, very old school 2000 AD painted artwork style by Toby Wilshire, and it's written by Arthur Wyatt, who's normally a Judge Dredd writer. But like I say, the classic 2000 AD, almost like Bisley-like artwork. And then it moves on to a main story with Strontium Dog, and this artwork by Stas Johnson is just fantastic. He's not aping Carlos Esquerra, but you can see it's kind of like a tip of the hat tribute to Esquerra's style. It's got a nice gritty feel to it. And there he is, Johnny Arthur's old mucker, Wolfstone Hammer, not as he normally looks. And then the final story in the 2000 AD one is the epilogue, like the end tale of the first story, again by the same team, Henry Flint and Ken Niemand. The artwork is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, that zombie dinosaur is priceless. Then you've got the Wolfie Smith, who was in Tornado. God, I know too much random shit. And see what I mean about me playing with my hair every time I'm on the video? I always get very overheated. It's been very stuffy today. Yeah, he was in Tornado. So how they managed to remember to bring that character back is really cool. And then you've got Bad Company. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to give too much away because something happens big, which is the main thrust of the Judge Dredd magazine. But that last panel, such a great drawing of Strontium Dog. If they bring another Strontium Dog story out, I hope they get Stas Johnson to do the artwork. Let's just have a look at that cover again. So that's 2000 AD, and now this is the Judge Dredd one. This is the final part of it. Like I say, it's a big double spread cover. So it starts the first story, which is Judge Dredd again, and this one is the Darkest Judge. That kind of gives you a hint of what's happened to one of the characters. And again, written by Ken Nyman. This time the artwork is by Leigh Gallagher, who is such a solid artist. I mean, look at that Dredd. As you can see, his complexion looks a bit different. So I wonder what's happened. Well, I know because I've read it. I mean, this image itself is just like jaw-dropping. So all these major 2000 AD characters, including the Mighty Tharg, the heads ripped off, the Iron Quince, Halo Jones, heads ripped off, stuck on spikes. This is brutal as well. One of the side judges, her arms have been devoured on her legs, but she's been left alive to use her psychic powers. Again, for reasons that you'll know if you read the comic. And then you've got somebody cruel from Bad Company. This is amazing. What I like about it, they've not... The cameos, what they do, they don't shove them down your throat, they don't give them like throwaway lines, they just appear. So you've got Slain appearing there in full Berserker mode. Obviously it looks like it's zombie Berserker mode. And then just this panel here, that is so good. I think that's Defoe, if I remember rightly. And then it moves from that to Shimura, which is the Japanese branch of law enforcement. And this is where the story from 2000 AD carries on. Now the storyline in this, for some reason, it's got a flavour of The Stand by Stephen King, that kind of apocalyptic good versus evil, because Johnny Alpha and a few others are following a voice know that they've all got to meet up to fight this ultimate evil. But I just love Strontium Dog. I'm so pleased he's come back in a big way. His costume is just one of the coolest comic costumes going. There you go. And after that, we move on to Judge Anderson, Side Division, who's my favourite judge because she's got a bit of personality. She's not very po-faced. And of course, Side Division, they're the ones who exercise psychic powers. And the artwork in this one is by Boo Cook, who is just so brilliant. He did quite a chunk of Matt Smith's Doctor Who comics, but he's got such a nice painterly style. As soon as you see his artwork, you know it's him. He's got a very distinctive flavour to his art. I mean, the colours on here are just so nice. And I'll censor that panel because it gives a big chunk out of the way, literally. Emphasis on the word chunk. So after that, goes on to Missionary Man, another character who's not been used a lot recently. And hopefully this means he might get another series. Missionary Man's more like your Clint Eastwood kind of Western character, but in a Judge Dredd universe. And the artwork by this, I think it's Dan Cornwell. Yeah, Dan Cornwell, who's a really solid artist. I think he did quite a bit of the Citadel storyline recently. And then from there it moves to Cadet Giant, who was a prominent character in the original Judgment Day. So I like how they brought these characters back, and the artwork in this is so nice. Again, the artwork in this one is by Niccolo Cirilli. And then from there, back to one of my favourite characters, Devlin War, Vampire. Um, he's a vampire, but he's also a rakish investigator. Just a cool character. Only 2000 AD could come up with a character like him. In any other comic, he'd be a villain, and in this one, he's not. But like I said, I'm not telling you anything much about the plot, apart from the bare bones.
I'm not sure about that.
Alexa, fuck off. It's a pain in the ass. And then from there it moves to Armitage, who's part of Britsit. He's a detective in Britsit's law enforcement. Gives a nice little commentary on how Britain is at the moment, actually. How uptight and pompous it can be. And then it moves to the finale, which is called, again, The Darkest Judge, again by Lee Gallagher and Ken Naymond. I love that panel. That's just great. Lee Gallagher is so solid as an artist. That's so nice. Nice punky style. I'm going to censor that. I don't want to. I really do recommend you buy it. And I'm going to stop it on there because the final page gives the whole ending to the story. Like I said, it's an alternate universe. So what's good about it? It means that anything that happens in it, it won't have repercussions on the normal 2000 AD timeline. It's basically like an Elseworlds tale, but it's fun. It's a real fun read. Because I hate mega crossovers when they go on forever, like Marvel unfortunately do with most of their stuff. But this, it's done and dusted. It's tidy. It's got a team of really good artists and writers on it, and I hope it brings people back to reading 2000 AD and Judge Dredd. It deserves the hype that it's had and the praise that it's had. It's a fun story, fun art. What I would recommend is buy 2000 AD and Judge Dredd, not just for these two issues, but ongoing. If you don't like physical copies, or if you're in the States or Canada or anywhere like that, then I recommend taking out a digital subscription. You won't be disappointed. 2000 AD's got such a different energy to any other comic company out there. It's still got that feeling of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it gives good commentary on current social situations across the world. And yeah, there's nothing like it. It's a unique comic. It's never really changed how it's been from its inception in the 70s. Unlike a lot of other comic companies where they just like constantly reinventing themselves or rebooting themselves. 2000 AD's never done that, and it's never had to, because it's always been forward thinking. So yeah, I guess thumbs up. Don't know if you could do that, but it gets loads of cool hand signals anyway, and I'm not cool, so I can't do them. So yeah, recommend it. So that's 2000 AD, Prog 2300, and Judge Dredd magazine, issue 448. Like I said, the chunky, good stories, good artwork, and it's just fun. So that's it, and I shall do another video soon. Okay, thank you, bye.